Part 1. The research vessel Intrepid drifted silently through the Kuiper Belt, its sensors scanning the icy bodies that mark the edge of humanity's solar system. Captain Ilara Rice stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the main display as it mapped the unusual energy signatures they'd been sent to investigate. After 20 years in Earth's Space Exploration Corps, she thought she'd seen everything the void had to offer. She was wrong. Captain, new contacts appearing at bearing 045 by 120, called Lieutenant Chen from the sensor station, his voice tight with tension. Multiple objects decelerating from FTL speeds. Ilara straightened her uniform jacket. Natural phenomenon. Negative, Captain. These are definitely vessels. Configuration unknown. The bridge fell silent. Humanity had spent centuries searching for intelligent life beyond Earth. Now, on what should have been a routine scientific mission, they might have found it. Tactical display, Ilara ordered. The screen shifted to show a formation of 7 sleek, crystalline ships with pulsing azure energy signatures along their hulls. They'd moved with unnerving precision, quickly surrounding the much smaller Intrepid. "They're beautiful," whispered Dr. Marcus Wright, the mission's chief xenobiologist. "They're armed," countered Security Chief Alvarez, pointing to what were unmistakably weapon mounts. "Heavily. Are they transmitting?" Ilara asked. Communication Officer Park nodded. "Yes, Captain. Some kind of signal directed at us. I think they're attempting communication." "Put it through." The main screen flickered and displayed the image of a being unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. Its body appeared to be composed of crystalline segments in various shades of blue and violet. 4 arms emerged from a torso that seemed almost liquid in its movements. Its face, if it could be called that, was a shifting arrangement of geometric patterns with 3 glowing points that might have been eyes. "I am High Commander Zexkar of the Craxian Imperium," the alien said, its voice oddly melodic despite the threatening stance of its fleet. "Your vessel has been detected in territory claimed by the Imperium. Identify yourselves." Ilara stepped forward, her heart racing despite her outwardly calm demeanor. "I am Captain Ilara Rise of Earth's research vessel Intrepid. We were unaware of any territorial claims in this region. We come in peace and would welcome dialogue between our peoples." The alien's form rippled in what might have been amusement. "Humans, your species has been observed from afar. Primitive, but potentially useful to the Imperium. Your solar system contains resources we require. Submit to integration, and your people may serve as laborers in our mining operations." The bridge crew exchanged alarmed glances. Ilara maintained her composure. "Commander Zexkar, there must be a misunderstanding. Earth has no quarrel with your people, but we cannot submit to enslavement. Perhaps we can negotiate a trade agreement instead." "Primitives do not negotiate with the Imperium," the alien interrupted. "Your technology is rudimentary, your defenses non-existent. Your choice is simple: submission or extermination." The tactical display began flashing warnings. The alien ships were powering up their weapon systems. "Commander, please reconsider," Ilara said, signaling her crew to begin emergency protocols. "Conflict would benefit neither of our peoples." "Conflict." The crystalline form of Zexkar pulsated with bright energy. "This is not conflict. This is pest removal. Your species will serve the Imperium or face extinction." Ilara turned to Communications Officer Park and whispered, "Prepare a quantum transmission to Earth. Include all scan data of their ships and this conversation." Chief Engineer Okafor approached her console. "Captain, their weapon systems are unlike anything we've ever seen. If they fire, our shields won't hold for more than seconds." The alien commander spoke again. "Your primitive vessel is already analyzed. Your defenses are irrelevant. Signal your surrender." Ilara straightened her back and looked directly at the alien. "The people of Earth do not surrender to threats, Commander Zexkar. We have existed for thousands of years without your guidance. We will continue to do so." "Foolish," Zexkar said, its form darkening. You have made your choice. The transmission cut off. Almost immediately, the ship rocked as energy blasts struck their shields. Shields at 42%, shouted Okafor. They're using some kind of phase-disruptive technology. Is the transmission ready? Ilara asked Park. Yes, Captain. Ready to send. Another blast hit them, more powerful than the first. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. Shields failing, Okafor called out. Hull breach on Deck 3. Ilara grabbed the edge of her console as the ship shuddered violently. Send the transmission now. Park worked frantically at his station. Transmitting. It's going through. The lights on the bridge flickered and died, replaced by the dim red glow of emergency lighting. The ship groaned as another blast tore through its defenses. Ilara activated the emergency recorder, knowing these might be her final words. Her voice was calm despite the chaos around her. This is Captain Ilara Rise of the Intrepid. Earth is facing an imminent invasion by a hostile species called the Craxians. They demand our surrender and integration into their empire as slave labor. They've attacked without provocation. She paused as another explosion rocked the ship. Do not surrender. Prepare defenses. Her eyes narrowed as she delivered her final message. They wanted war. They'll get your war. The transmission sent just as the bridge erupted in flames and darkness. On Earth, billions of humans were about to learn they were not alone in the universe, and that their first contact would be their last moment of peace for a very long time. The emergency message from Captain Ilara Rise reached Earth 2 days after the Intrepid was destroyed. The transmission, containing the Craxian threat and the ship's scan data of the alien vessels, was first received by the Mars Colonial Outpost before being relayed to Earth Command. Within hours, every government leader on the planet had seen the footage. Panic spread quickly. Religious extremists claimed the end times had arrived. Stock markets crashed, and military forces worldwide went on high alert. For the first time in history, humanity faced an existential threat from beyond their world. 5 days after the message arrived, the United Earth Defense Council convened in New Geneva. This emergency body, composed of representatives from every nation, gathered in a heavily fortified underground facility. The mood was grim as they watched the recording of Captain Rice's final transmission once more. Director Ravi Sharma, formerly India's defense minister and now appointed head of the newly formed United Defense Initiative, stood before the assembled leaders. He was a tall man with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many conflicts in his 60 years. The Craxians believe us weak, he said, his voice steady and resolute. They're mistaken. Captain Rice gave her life to warn us. We will not waste her sacrifice. A representative from Nigeria raised her hand. Their technology is clearly far beyond ours. How can we possibly defend against them? Sharma nodded to a woman seated at the side of the room. Dr. Elena Volkov stood and activated the central display, showing detailed analysis of the Craxian ships. We've studied the scan data from the Intrepid, she explained, her Russian accent thick with fatigue after days without sleep. Their technology is advanced, yes, but not incomprehensible. Their energy weapons operate on principles similar to our experimental quantum disruption systems. Their hull materials show vulnerabilities to certain frequencies. She tapped her tablet, and the display changed. Most importantly, we recovered debris from the Intrepid's destruction zone that contains intact Craxian components. The room buzzed with surprised whispers. Sharma continued, we have already begun reverse engineering their technology. We estimate it would have taken us 50 years to develop these advancements independently. Thanks to Captain Rice, we now have a starting point. Across the planet, the greatest transformation in human history began. Factory lines producing consumer electronics were rapidly converted to build weapon components. University research labs shifted focus to alien technology. Former rival nations shared military secrets and scientific breakthroughs. At the newly constructed Orbital Defense Command, Admiral Hikaru Tanaka studied tactical displays showing simulations of Craxian attack patterns. Tanaka had been the commander of Asia-Pacific Fleet operations before the alien encounter. Now she was responsible for creating Earth's first true space navy. Their ships move in rigid formations, she told her international team of officers. They rely on overwhelming firepower rather than tactical flexibility. We'll adapt their technology against them, but fight in our own way. The display showed smaller, more agile Earth vessels darting between the larger Craxian ships. We cannot match them ship for ship, Tanaka explained. So we won't try. We'll build vessels designed to exploit the weaknesses Dr. Volkov has identified. Colonel Miguel Santos, formerly of the Brazilian Air Force, looked doubtful. Sir, even with their technology, we're outnumbered and outgunned. Tanaka smiled grimly. Throughout history, humans have faced stronger enemies. We survived because we adapted. We're not just building ships. We're creating new tactics the Craxians have never encountered. In orbit around Earth and Mars, massive construction platforms took shape. Shipyards built in haste-produced vessels incorporating the reverse-engineered alien tech. The first prototype, the UES Vengeance, was completed in record time. Scientists working around the clock made breakthrough after breakthrough. Dr. Volkov's team discovered that Craxian shielding systems could be disrupted by specific quantum frequencies. Weapon systems were developed to exploit this weakness. 6 months after first contact, Earth had built a small but capable defense fleet. Military personnel from all nations trained together in the new ships, learning to operate technology that would have seemed like magic a year earlier. Admiral Tanaka gathered her officers on the bridge of the Vengeance for its maiden voyage. The ship hummed with power systems based on Craxian designs, but improved by human ingenuity. The enemy believes they know what to expect from us, she told them, looking at each face in turn. They see a primitive species they can easily conquer. They expect us to cower or fight conventionally and lose. She activated the ship's main drive, and the Vengeance moved away from Earth with a grace that belied its deadly purpose. We won't fight as they expect, Tanaka told her officers, her eyes reflecting the stars beyond the viewport. Humans have always excelled at the unexpected. And soon, the Craxians will learn it the hard way. The Earth fleet waited in silence among Saturn's rings, 15 ships hidden in the ice and dust, powered down to minimal systems to avoid detection. For 2 weeks, they had practiced and prepared, watching as Craxian supply vessels followed the same route through the solar system, clearly unconcerned about any human threat. Admiral Tanaka stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, watching the tactical display as 7 red dots approached. Craxian supply ships escorted by 2 warships. They're right on schedule, said Navigation Officer Rodriguez. Arrogant. They don't even vary their course. Tanaka nodded. They think we're hiding on Earth, building defenses. They don't expect us out here. She touched her communication panel. All ships, prepare to execute on my mark. The Craxian ships drew closer, their azure energy signatures bright on the tactical screens. Now, Tanaka said calmly, attack pattern Omega. The Earth fleet powered up simultaneously. The Vengeance and 5 other ships launched from their hiding places among the icy particles, while the remaining vessels emerged from behind Titan and other moons. All weapons hot. Weapons Officer Singh reported. Target locked on lead escort. Tanaka watched as the Craxian ships registered the sudden appearance of the Earth fleet. Their formations began to shift, but too slowly. Fire, ordered Tanaka. The Vengeance released a barrage of modified quantum weapons, calibrated to frequencies that Craxian shields couldn't block. The pulsing energy struck the lead escort ship, bypassing its shields and tearing through its crystalline hull. The Earth ships executed their carefully planned maneuvers, attacking from multiple angles. The Craxians, accustomed to enemies who fought in predictable patterns, struggled to respond to the seemingly chaotic human assault. Second escort is targeting us, Singh warned. Evasive pattern echo, Tanaka ordered. The Vengeance rolled and changed direction with an agility no Craxian ship could match. The enemy's energy blast missed by kilometers. In the final moments before the transmission ended, Captain Ilara Reis had unknowingly given humanity its greatest gift, the warning they needed to survive. And now, the Craxians were about to learn what humans could do when cornered. As the first Craxian warship shattered into crystalline fragments against the backdrop of Saturn's majestic rings, Admiral Tanaka thought of Captain Rice's final words. They wanted war. They were getting one. Part 2. The battle lasted 23 minutes. When it ended, both Craxian escorts were destroyed, and 4 supply ships had been captured. The remaining 3 supply vessels jumped to FTL, escaping back toward the outer system. Let them go, Tanaka said. We want them to report what happened here. She turned to her communications officer. Signal the boarding teams. Secure those ships and any prisoners. On the captured Craxian supply cruiser designated Target 2, Commander Asuka Nakamura led her boarding team through alien corridors. The ship's interior featured bizarre geometric angles that seemed to shift subtly as they moved, creating a disorienting effect. The lighting pulsed in patterns that gave some team members headaches. Life signs ahead, said Surgeon Diaz, checking her scanner. One signature different from the others we've encountered. They approached a sealed doorway. Tech specialist Okoro plugged a device into the alien panel, running the code sequences they'd developed to hack Craxian systems. Got it, he said as the door slid open. Inside was not the typical Craxian crew member they had expected. This alien was larger, its crystalline form more elaborate, with complex geometric patterns that shifted with greater intensity. It wore what appeared to be an ornate fixture around its central mass. An officer, Asuka realized. Maybe even the captain. The alien regarded them with its 3 glowing points that served as eyes. It made no move to attack or escape. Asuka ordered her team to secure the room, then approached the alien. She activated the translation device developed from Captain Rice's first contact recording. I am Commander Asuka Nakamura of Earth, she said. You are now our prisoner. The alien's form pulsated with light. I am Sub-Commander Vexnar of the Craxian Imperium. The translation came through. You fight with our weapons. How is this possible? Asuka didn't answer that question. Instead, she asked one of her own. Why attack us? Earth never threatened your people. The alien's crystalline body shifted in what might have been the equivalent of a shrug. The Imperium expands. It is our purpose. Your world has resources. Your people will serve. We will not serve, Asuka replied firmly. This battle means nothing, the alien said, but Asuka noticed a subtle change in its luminosity. The Imperium has conquered hundreds of worlds. Your resistance is temporary. Were those other worlds warned? Did they have time to prepare? The alien's light points fluctuated briefly. The Emperor said humans were docile prey. You are. Not. Asuka smiled slightly. No, we are not. She touched her communicator. Admiral, we have a high-ranking prisoner, requesting transport to the Vengeance. As the Earth fleet regrouped and prepared to return to their hidden bases throughout the solar system, Admiral Tanaka interrogated the captured sub-commander in a secure chamber aboard the Vengeance. Your tactics are unusual, Vexnar admitted. Craxian formations are designed to counter conventional assaults. Your ships moved in patterns we could not predict. That's because we don't fight like you, Tanaka replied. Humans have been fighting each other for millennia. We've learned to be unpredictable. The alien's form dimmed slightly. The Emperor will send the Grand Armada. Hundreds of warships. You cannot hope to prevail. Tanaka leaned forward. When will they arrive? 3 of your months, Vexnar answered, its crystalline structure brightening with what might have been pride. Then your resistance ends. Tanaka didn't respond, but as she left the chamber, she allowed herself a small smile. The alien had just given them invaluable intelligence, both a timeline and confirmation that the Craxians viewed human tactics as unpredictable. They had 3 months to prepare, and now they knew their approach was working. Back on Earth, Dr. Volkov and her team studied the captured Craxian vessels intensively. Every component was analyzed, every system reverse-engineered. 2 weeks after the Saturn ambush, she requested an emergency meeting with the United Defense Council. "We've discovered something significant," she told the assembled leaders. Activating the holographic display, she showed microscopic images of Craxian technology. Their entire technological base is crystalline in nature, not just their bodies, but their ships, weapons, everything. It's a silicon-based technology that functions on principles of resonance and harmonic frequencies. Director Sharma leaned forward. "And this helps us how?" Volkov smiled. "Every crystal has a resonant frequency at which it will shatter. We've identified the specific frequency range that disrupts Craxian systems catastrophically." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "You're saying we can destroy their ships with sound?" asked a Chinese representative. "Not exactly sound," Volkov corrected. "But yes, a specific pattern of quantum vibrations will cause their systems to break down at the molecular level. We're calling it the Shatterstorm Protocol." For the next 2 months, Earth prepared feverishly. New weapons were constructed based on Dr. Volkov's discovery. Smaller, faster ships were built, designed to deliver the Shatterstorm effect and evade Craxian targeting systems. But even with their breakthroughs, humanity remained outnumbered. That's when Admiral Tanaka proposed something unprecedented. "We need to take the fight to them," she told the United Defense Council. "Not just defend Earth, but strike at their staging area beyond Neptune." Director Sharma frowned. "That would leave Earth vulnerable if we're wrong about their approach vector." "With respect, Director, we're already vulnerable," Tanaka countered. "But our prisoner has confirmed they don't expect us to be aggressive. They think we'll huddle around Earth waiting for their armada. We need to surprise them again." After heated debate, the Council approved Tanaka's plan. The Earth fleet, now 40 ships strong, deployed to the edges of the solar system, hiding among the distant planetoids and comets of the Kuiper Belt. 3 months to the day after their first victory, long-range sensors detected the Craxian Grand Armada entering the solar system. Over 200 warships led by a massive flagship nearly the size of Earth's moon. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Admiral Tanaka watched the tactical display with steady eyes. "All ships maintain stealth protocols. Let them pass our position." The massive alien fleet moved past the hidden Earth vessels, heading inward toward the waiting trap. As the last Craxian ships passed their position, Tanaka gave the order. "Execute Operation Shatterstorm." Throughout the solar system, hidden transmitters activated simultaneously, bombarding the Craxian fleet with precisely calibrated energy waves. The effect was instantaneous. Dozens of smaller ships began to break apart, their crystalline structures vibrating uncontrollably before shattering into fragments. The larger vessels, including the flagship, generated protective fields that partially shielded them from the effect, but their movements became erratic as systems failed. "Phase 2, ordered Tanaka. The Earth fleet powered up and attacked from behind, targeting the now vulnerable Craxian warships with conventional weapons. The alien formation, already disrupted by the Shatterstorm effect, fractured completely as they tried to respond to an attack from an unexpected direction. Aboard the Craxian flagship, High Commander Zexkar watched in disbelief as his Grand Armada disintegrated around him. "Impossible," he hissed to his officers. "They are primitives." A senior Craxian officer approached. "High Commander, we're receiving transmissions from other vessels in the fleet. The humans are using harmonic disruptors. Our systems are failing." "Retreat," Zexkar ordered. "All ships, retreat beyond the disruption field." But the retreat order came too late for many vessels. The Earth fleet pressed their advantage, focusing fire on the larger warships that had survived the initial Shatterstorm attack. The battle raged for hours. Earth vessels darted between the massive Craxian ships, striking with precision and withdrawing before the aliens could respond effectively. Human tactics, honed through centuries of warfare against other humans, proved devastatingly effective against the methodical Craxians. As the fighting intensified, something unexpected happened. Several Craxian supply ships broke formation, but instead of retreating, they moved to join the Earth fleet. "Admiral," Communications Officer Chen reported, "we're receiving transmissions from those vessels. They're identifying themselves as the Sealer, a species conquered by the Craxians 20 years ago. They say they want to help us fight." Tanaka nodded. "Tell them we accept their alliance." With the addition of the Sealer ships, crewed by insectoid beings who had been forced into service by the Craxians, the tide turned decisively. The Sealer understood Craxian tactics intimately and provided crucial intelligence during the battle. After 8 hours of fighting, the remnants of the once mighty Craxian armada retreated, jumping to FTL speed and fleeing the solar system. Only the massive flagship and 30 escort vessels escaped. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Admiral Tanaka allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before addressing her crew. "Today, humanity has shown the galaxy that we will not submit to tyranny," she said. "But our work is just beginning. The Craxians will return, and when they do, we must be ready." She turned to the Sealer representative who had joined her on the bridge, a tall, mantis-like being named Krelvek. "How many other species have the Craxians enslaved?" she asked. "Dozens," Krelvek replied, his mandibles clicking. "Scattered across 17 star systems, all waiting for a chance to break free." Tanaka nodded thoughtfully. "Then perhaps it's time we took the fight to their territory, not just to defend Earth, but to liberate others." The following day, representatives from Earth and the Sealer met aboard the Vengeance to formalize their alliance. The message they transmitted to Craxian space was simple. "To the Craxian Imperium, you came to our world seeking slaves and found warriors instead. You threatened our extinction and discovered our strength. You wanted war. Now you have it. But know this, we do not fight alone anymore. Every world you've conquered, every species you've enslaved, will become your enemy. This is no longer just humanity's war. This is the beginning of your reckoning." 6 months later, the United Fleet, now including ships from Earth, the Sealer, and 3 other liberated species, approached the Craxian homeworld. Leading the fleet was the UES Reyes, named for the captain whose sacrifice had given humanity the warning they needed. On its bridge stood Admiral Tanaka and representatives from each allied species. As the massive crystalline structures of the Craxian capital came into view, Tanaka thought again of Captain Rice's final words. They wanted war. They got it. And now, the galaxy would never be the same. But this was not just a story of vengeance. It was a testament to humanity's greatest strength, not technology or weapons, but the ability to adapt, to learn, to forge alliances, and to fight for something greater than themselves. As the Craxian Emperor watched the approaching fleet from his crystalline palace, he finally understood the fatal error he had made. Humans were not merely another species to be conquered. They were the catalyst that would transform the galaxy. The liberation of the Craxian-dominated systems took 3 years of hard fighting. When it was over, a new galactic confederation was formed, an alliance of equals, with Earth playing a central role not because of superior strength, but because of humanity's diplomatic skills and adaptive thinking. Captain Ilara Reyes never lived to see this new era of interstellar cooperation, but across the stars, her name became synonymous with courage and sacrifice. On 100 worlds, beings of all forms told the story of how a single human captain, faced with overwhelming odds, had not surrendered but instead sent a message that changed the course of galactic history. They wanted war. They got it. And in the end, that war had forged a peace stronger than any empire. In the Grand Chamber of the Confederation Council, representatives from 57 species gathered to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Craxian defeat. At the center of the chamber stood a simple holographic memorial. Captain Ilara Reyes of the Earth vessel Intrepid, her final message playing in a continuous loop in the languages of all Confederate worlds. Admiral Tanaka, now older and bearing the scars of many battles, stood before the assembled representatives. 10 years ago, we faced extinction at the hands of an enemy who believed us weak, she said. Today, we stand at the heart of the largest peaceful coalition in known space. Captain Reyes never lived to see this day, but every being in this chamber owes their freedom to her courage. She raised a hand toward the hologram. She taught us all that true strength lies not in domination, but in determination, not in conquest, but in cooperation. The Craxians wanted war. What they got instead was a revolution that transformed the stars. As the applause echoed through the chamber, Tanaka gazed at the holographic image of Reyes. In her darkest moment, facing certain death, the captain had defied an empire. In doing so, she had not only saved humanity, but had set in motion events that would reshape the galaxy for millennia to come. They had wanted war. What they got was much, much more.